Let's take a look at factoring quadratic equations. We're going to start with this quadratic equation. Notice it is a quadratic equation because it has a squared term to start out, x squared. Now there are several methods for factoring quadratic equations, but not all methods can be used for every single equation. In order to determine which methods are appropriate, it will help if you first look at the discriminant of your expression. The discriminant is the equation b squared minus 4ac, and it's a good quick check to see if you can factor or not. Oftentimes this will save you some time when you are not trying to factor something that is infactorable. In order to use the discriminant, we must first know what the a, b, and c values are. In our quadratic, the a, b, and c values correspond with the coefficients in front of our terms when written in standard order. In this case, a is in front of the squared term. Now there is no number there, which means it is an invisible one. B is the coefficient in front of the x term, and c is the value all by itself. Now when we fill this in, we have b squared, or 6 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 5. This results in 36 minus 20, which is 16. The discriminant tells us how many and what type of solutions we have. Here's some important rules to keep in mind. If the discriminant comes out to be equal to 0, we have one real solution. If the discriminant is greater than 0, in this case 16 is greater than 0, and a perfect square, in this case 16 is a perfect square. The square root of 16 is 4, so it is a perfect square. Then we know that we have two real solutions. And if we have a perfect square, you can solve this via factoring. It can be solved via factoring. You do not need the quadratic equation, although you could use it if you want it. If the discriminant is greater than 0 and not a perfect square, we still have two real solutions, but we cannot factor this. Our solutions will be decimals, and that means that they will not be factorable. So you would, in this case, want to use the quadratic equation. And in the case that your discriminant is less than 0 or negative, there are unreal solutions. So before you go ahead and try and factor and waste a lot of time looking for factors, it may help to do a quick check and be sure that your expression is in turn factorable.